You have to get used to asking for money, and it's very uncomfortable. Stop everything else, stop all the cool stuff you're thinking about, and be like, they need this button to work. Every startup has this problem. Most startups fail because they don't figure it out. Create me a sales contract that allows my company to charge two ways. The sales contract should have $100 a month where they pay monthly for 1 year, and this is a 1 year commitment, or they pay all up front and they get a 50% discount on the sales contract. Make it where it protects me. It is a SaaS software contract, basically allowing, and the product itself is a lab tool to let procedures happen properly inside of a lab setting. And give me a contract that's for a startup that's in San Francisco. Bam. You're not going to get anything perfect. So like, I think this is fine, like for a first draft, and you could get a real lawyer to work on it. If they get signed, you get your first customer, they sign it. You could literally just send them an invoice in just paid, and then literally you're getting revenue in the door, and then they feel mentally committed to you where they're like, oh, we're paying $100 a month. Gotcha. Y Combinator, they're like, they talk about like getting paid, ask for payment, be like, hey guys, I really want to commit to this with you. Here's an agreement. Does this work for you? Maybe it's too much money, maybe it's too little, but like you probably want a lab to pay you something for commitment, like an emotional commitment. Lawyers will charge you a lot of money and get it correct, but for the first customer, just get them to pay you and then get feedback from them. If you don't have anyone paying you, they're just telling you what you want to hear to make, because they like you as a person, or they're just making stuff up that they think that they want and they really don't want it. Having something like this will change the game for you. Like, it's a psychological game. People are going to tell you, oh, that's awesome. It's great. We love it. And then you're going to ask for money. They'll be like, oh, whoa. You actually really want money for this? Well, we don't want this. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a sale call last week, and the guy said he wanted preloaded templates for the sales contracts to load. Like, he just wanted a feature that we didn't have. And I felt like if I didn't give him a price for the product, I couldn't tell if he was just blowing smoke up my ass because he liked me as a person. So after the phone call, I'm like, I sent him an email. I might have lost him as a user, but like, you have to get used to asking for money, and it's very uncomfortable. I did not want to send the email, but I did it because I'd rather not be lied to or placated to about what I'm building. Great talking today. I didn't even mention pricing on the Zoom, but then after I emailed him this, just wanted to send over our pricing just so you have it. The platform will be $100 a month, and we could commit to building the features. So you needed these two features. Would you be willing to commit to a 1-year term working with us? Boom, contract. And it's like, you have to make money. Because if you don't do it, you're gonna die. How much money do you have in your personal bank account to keep going? Like a year, 6 months, 2 years? I don't know. Got them in the door. Whether they use it or not, I had a web version of our product. Have a web version of your product. I just want you to like let people know that there has to be value for this thing at some point. We'll give you 1 month free. Whatever, we'll give you 2 months free. It's like there is some value in it where you have to charge something at some point. And it doesn't have to be this much money. It could be $20 a month. And the 50% discount on $20, that's $60 a year. That is nothing. But then you have a customer, a real customer. And then they're going to complain about features. And then you go, okay, we only promised these features. You want more features? Okay. It helps to have the psychological. The thing about free, they don't value it. Get one user to pay you, and that's like a major validation point for something. The problem with Stripe is they can cancel. The problem with giving you a credit card is they could like cancel. The nice thing about a 1-year commitment is they're psychologically getting themselves ready to work with your tech for a year, and then you just got to get them happy, like as happy as possible. Actually be like, you're my friend. Can you do $20 a month? I really need your feedback every week. Just keep checking in with them and get it perfect with them. Well, it doesn't do what I need it to do. No problem. What do you need it to do? I'll put it in the implementation part. You just write it out, and then you got to actually deliver that feature to them. Stop everything else, stop all the cool stuff you're thinking about and be like, they need this button to work. It doesn't work. And then if you fix it in a day, their confidence will shoot through the roof. And then they'll actually start using it more and they'll give more feedback. And then you have to just iterate fast for that one customer as fast as possible. Copy. Great artists copy. I would actually take their site. I would take GitHub, build and ship software on a single platform, collaborate on a platform. The AI code editor, it should say for developers, but I see code here, so I immediately know it's for developers. Download for Mac. The action is there. Like, it's like, get them into it, download it. They don't even have a sign up. So like for Versal, how do you say it? Versal? Start deploying. Full stack observability and security built for enterprise scale. I know what this means, but non-developers won't know what this means. Loved by developers, built for, there you go. Like, this actually is probably the best one so far that, like, I don't know why they call it Atlas. That's weird. They should just say try free. I don't know if you knew that. You ever looked at this? Like, you're literally in the product and they just sucking you in, but like, can you do that with your product? There's no wrong or right answer, but it's getting the user to try it and then want it like as fast as possible. There is this like skepticism with buying products when you don't know who's behind it, and it freaks me out. Like for Sal, they're too big now. Like, I looked at their funding and that gave me a data point. So when I went and I'm like, how much funding do they have? Like, this showed me everything. Okay, they have a lot of resources, a lot of money behind them. They're not going to go away anytime soon. So let's use them. That was like my thinking. So like, when there's no person, you look at who's behind. When there's a person, you feel like, okay, there's a person here. I could go to them and yell at them. Or if there's a company, it's like, do they have enough funding and are there people behind it? Enterprise level products expect enterprise grade faces and people behind it. If you want to go all in on this, it's like your face has to be out there. The manager likes to talk to somebody sometimes, you know? And then you get on the phone and he talks to you. He's like, this is great. They Google you. Like, I Google companies that I want to work with. I Google a lot and I do research and I'm like, okay, they got some fun. They got $2 million of funding. That's good enough. Okay, they have 500K in funding. That's good enough. Okay, they have this investor. Okay, that's good. Oh, I know this guy. He has zero funding, but I'll use his product because I believe in him. When something is like secretive, I get more skeptical of it because it's like enterprise grade stuff. I mean, say made in the USA, that'll make people feel more comfortable. I was really worried because I use Evernote. I don't know if you guys use Evernote. I'm like, now it's moving over to Europe. Europeans make me feel comfortable because they're like, we have more stringent rules than the US. Like, your data is more safe here. People just immediately have a visceral reaction. Oh, it's in Russian. We can't use it. Where do you reside? Who funded it? You know, you're a faceless, nameless company with no LinkedIn. You're going to have to go one by one guerrilla warfare style, like messaging people to use this. You have to promise support. You know, how do I get support? Is there a number? At the end of the day, if you want to build this, get one customer. That's all you need, is one customer to pay you. And then just hyper fixate on them and get it focused on them and fix it for them. And then get them like really dialed in over the course of like a year. You're going to have to go one by one to larger companies and convince them that you are all in. You could do a pilot with them. They call it design partner, but make them pay you and dedicate it to them for a year. And if they jump in and buy it, you've got them, you know. You'd have to hustle, you know, spend 3 hours a day doing sales, 1 hour a day doing sales. If you can close one deal in 3 months at $79 per month, you have something. Startups are really built like by grit. It's never apparent. And, you know, some companies can go out of the gate and just have like lots of users. I don't think that's the case for most. It took Figma 7 years to find product market fit. Okay, it took them 5 years. I'm sorry, 5 years. You know, Slack took them, they were doing something totally different. It took them 4 years, 5 years. Product market fit is like when users wanted it, it felt right, it was stable. It's okay to have one user for like the first 3 months. If you get someone in the first 3 months, you're still okay. 1 in 10 companies succeeds, in my mind. Okay, so there's like 20 companies here. There should be like another 200 that failed. 1 in 10 succeed. So these all, you know, here, God knows how they survived. Like Notion. Took them 2 years to get to live product. Took them, first customer, took them 3 years. I always play the long game in startups where the reality is you're not going to just get users right out of the gate. And I think the perception is startups are cool, startups are fun, they're like really cool and hip and trendy. It's a show of depression. And it's a psychological game. Like, I'm running out of money. What the fuck am I doing with my life? I feel like I feel like a loser. Should I keep going? And then at some point, you get a couple of users and you're like, okay, maybe there's something here. And then you get a couple more and you're like, okay, maybe there's something here. And then you get a couple more and then you're like, okay. And then like, as you go along, you're like, oh, I actually have real revenue now. I have like $1 million in revenue. Like, oh, this has been a 4-year slog. But TechCrunch, all they care about is how cool and hot and trendy. This guy raised $500 million. Isn't that cool? And you think he did it in like 4 months. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the reality is like bucket it as lucky. So 50% are lucky, and then the other 50 are like the unlucky but also lucky companies that survive to get to that point. Everyone else is completely unlucky. It is utterly depressing. I think all your ideas could have worked. I think they all could have worked. All of them just would have had different timelines to success. Right out of school, I had no choice. I literally had no choice. I applied. That's not true. I got like jobs in a few startups, but they were and they all went bankrupt. They all went bankrupt. And I'm like, I got to do this for myself because I can't get hired. And like, if I go work at another startup, they're just going to go bankrupt again. I went to 2 startups after school and they both went bankrupt in like a year. If you're looking to make money and get rich, Google isn't a bad route. Microsoft's not a bad route if you can get in there. And then you could like get your network and then like jump ship later, because they have like really powerful people inside there. You could probably find good co-founders. You can get rich at a large company. You can get rich. Like everybody at NVIDIA got rich. But again, NVIDIA struggled. They almost went bankrupt many years. You guys know that? So like these are shit shows. Like NVIDIA didn't even know what they were doing. Perceptually out there, they didn't know what they were doing for like the first 4 years. I heard stories of them like really not knowing anything. And they built products that people did not care about. And then they realized, oh, video games. And then they built the cards. And then all these crypto people are like, oh, video game cards. And then NVIDIA was smart enough to go, oh, crypto. And then it was like NFTs and then all this other stuff. And then AI. It's like they got lucky. They had a work ethic. This is a unique one where like it took them 1993. It took them a long time to get to where they're at now. It's not like it was an overnight success. Apple almost went bankrupt several times. Do you know that or no? People don't talk about this stuff, but they were going to go bankrupt. They had to basically kill all these product lines. So they begged Microsoft for $150 million and they did it. This is back in 1997. They had 3 months of money in the bank, and then Microsoft said, we're going to invest in you $150 million. And that's where they invented the iPod. Out of that $150 million, they invented the iMac and the iPod. And it basically was a reboot of a dead company. And then the iPod became the iPhone. So they got lucky because they knew Steve Jobs knew Bill Gates personally, and he asked him for the investment. You also need fully committed co-founders. Like if you get a co-founder, I notice like you need someone that's in as much as you are, and it's hard to find that. You need like real commitment from somebody, and it's like, who is that person going to be? What is their psychology? Where are they at? Psychologically, you have to look for somebody that's like in the right mind space for that, because it's not fun. Like whatever anyone says, startups. It's like, I'm not trying to sell you out, like push you out of it, but it's like it's good in some areas because you feel like you're doing your own thing and you feel like you're like independent and you have the power to make any changes and the destiny is all yours. But the other side of it is like getting users really is really like it's a hard problem. Every startup has this problem. Most startups fail because they don't figure it out. One guy 2 weeks ago tried to sell me his product. He built it 3 months ago for $5,000 a month. So expensive. And the product didn't even work, I don't think. I think he manually did it like on his own and then sent me an Excel sheet. But he's trying to build the software to do what he's doing manually. But I'm like, that's $5,000 a month. He's asking for a lot, but he's in it. His face was on the Zoom. He's like, I'm in this 100%. I'm building the software, so it made me feel confident, but also like the price point was way too high. Create a Word document, say you sign up for a year, have ChatGPT create it, sales contract. It's for a year. You could do an upfront payment. It's 20% discount, or per month it's this amount. Have them physically sign it and then just do weekly check-ins with them and make sure they're using it actively. If you actually have someone paying you for it, email them and say, this is the founder. I would love to talk to you. Can we have like 30 minutes of time? And just say, I would like to see, can I see you using the product? Talk to the users and build it as fast as possible. Dropbox shouldn't have existed. Like it should not have. Like Microsoft should have built it first. Google should have built it first. But Dropbox just got faster, iterative process, fast cycles. Sure, Microsoft is bigger. Sure, Apple is bigger, but Dropbox is huge. It's like, there's going to be competitors no matter what. I bought this online. It's like a rubber band that like you could just tie stuff to. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is, but the founder reached out and he's like, why do people in Silicon Valley keep buying these? Everybody here likes biking and everybody here hikes, and you can like you can just tie stuff together. And I bought like a few of them, and he reached out. He's like, can you talk to me for an hour? I want to know why people are buying them there. I never responded. I remember the email because I was just too busy, but I'm like, the chances of me responding were really high if I had the time. Like, I'm so busy. I dropped off, but I'm like, I actually respect that a lot. It makes me like the company more. And I know he's doing that to other users of this product.